Victorians who are fully vaccinated will be allowed more freedoms as of this Friday. But it emerged today that retail workers and shoppers will be given a little more time to get their jabs. Stores, gyms and entertainment venues will throw open their doors on Friday, and the state is still expected to pass the 80% double dose milestone by then. In the lead up, tens of thousands of people have been rolling up each day to get immunised, but unvaccinated Victorians are still making up the majority of new infections. There were 1,461 new cases today, and 7 more Victorians have died. 800 COVID patients are in hospital, 152 in intensive care. Here's Eden Hennanen with today's developments.
If you walk into a Bourke Street cafe on Friday night, you'll be served by a fully vaccinated waiter. But in any of the shops reopening nearby, you could run into staff and customers with 1 dose.
A bit confusing, yes, because I thought the same rules applied going into a shopping centre or store compared and would be the same as going into a cafe.
I'd be a bit nervous the fact that a lot of people are going to be in the same place.
The anomaly will continue for almost a month because Victorian retail workers and customers won't need to be fully vaccinated until November the 26th. The rules are less strict for retail because it's considered a non-essential service.
Different arrangements apply because everyone's got to have access to health. Everyone's got to have access to food supplies.
More than ever, people just want to know what the rules are and for the government to stick to them.
Despite the confusion, the return of indoor shopping this weekend is a relief for many.
Look, I've made $50 out the front today. Why bother?
The country's peak retail body says 1 in 4 Victorians are employed in retail, the largest number in the country. And once stores open later this week, it's predicted that it could bring up to $14 billion back to the economy this Christmas period.
Majority of what Australians spend is always in store, and that's why Victoria, being one of the heartlands of our retailers, it's very, very important for them to get back to trading.
When the state hits 90% double dose, virtually all restrictions lift. But healthcare workers are still seeing too many unvaccinated patients.
This lady here this morning was telling me how bad she felt, remorseful about not having had a vaccine and that she'd had appointments but hadn't been able to get to them or had been too anxious or concerned to make it. So hopefully she's doing okay tomorrow.
And the government's deploying vans like this to vaccinate Indigenous communities, where vaccination rates are lagging.
We've got our vaccination van, we're ready to roll. We're going to be doing some work down in Collingwood and also some work out in the western suburbs.
About 80% of Indigenous Victorians have had 1 dose and 58% are fully vaccinated. Eden Hennanen, ABC News, Melbourne.
Despite the federal government saying last week that unvaccinated tennis players would not be allowed to play at the Australian Open, a leaked email from the Women's Tennis Association suggests otherwise. It's caught the state government on the hop and opened the door for world number 1 Novak Djokovic to defend his 2021 title.
Triumphant in 2021.
Make it 9 for Novak!
It's been unclear whether Novak Djokovic would be able to return to our shores in 2022.
So what's your message to Novak?
Well, I don't have a message to Novak. I have a message to everybody that wishes to visit Australia. You'll need to be double vaccinated.
I don't think an unvaccinated tennis player is going to get a visa.
The men's world number 1 won't reveal if he's been jabbed, but it may not matter. A leaked email to WTA players suggests unvaccinated players will be able to travel to Australia, but they'll have to go through mandatory hotel quarantine for 14 days and submit to regular testing.
It's been a little bit mayoed.
Victoria's Sports Minister says the rules haven't been decided and the ball is partly in the federal government's court.
Unvaccinated foreign entrants wouldn't be getting visas. Now, as far as I'm aware, that remains the situation.
The path to Melbourne Park for the unvaccinated would be difficult. The Commonwealth would need to give an exemption to unvaccinated players, and then the state government would decide what restrictions are in place.
We don't control the borders, we don't issue the visas, the Commonwealth does that. We'll work in partnership with them and the Australian Open.
Despite some players' hesitancy, the government believes almost 80% have been immunised and the rate is rising. Even if unvaccinated players are allowed into Australia, It's likely the prospect of hotel quarantine for a second year running will act as a deterrent. The good news for vaccinated players, it appears they'll be able to roam freely in the community. Tom Maddox, ABC News, Melbourne.
In the UK, the opposition party is calling for the government to move to Plan B and reimpose some restrictions like working from home to tackle rising COVID-19 cases there. Infections have been above 40,000 for 11 days in a row, and there's been a 12% rise in the number of deaths over the past week. Britain is relying almost exclusively on vaccines to keep the virus at bay during the colder months.
Although the winter was always going to be challenging through a combination of different factors, the booster rollout should give us the protection we need. And there is a fallback, there is a plan B if we need it, as the data doesn't suggest that we need it today.
Doctors say the rising infection rate is putting intense pressure on emergency departments.